Okay, so how far will artificial intelligence go, and should we be concerned?
We were thinking about how, just say you're working at Coles or Woolies, and then someone comes in and says, "I'm sorry, you can't work here anymore. Here's your final paycheck. We've got robots to take over your jobs." And we think we maybe should be concerned because that will lead to lots of unemployment.
Okay, so
Like in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I think it was the remake. Charlie's dad, he loses his job at the toothpaste factory because unscrewing on the lids because a machine was doing it for him, and so they couldn't get any money.
Well, we probably shouldn't be that concerned about AI because it can't hurt us because we program it to do everything. It can't create itself and without anyone. And, we are very smart people who know what they're doing. So I don't think we'll make any sort of mistake.
To add on to that, the computer doesn't only have the programmer's mind, but it also has perspective from everybody else. So it can be smarter than any one person, but the code, if somebody who's like a hacker or something could overwrite the good code to hurt us.
There have been examples in the past of AI picking up the behavior of people around it. So if people set a bad example for the AI by saying certain things to it, the AI could repeat those things and kind of in a way gain sentience, but not entirely, seeing as it's just mimicking something. So that kind of goes into the fact that you said we program it, it can't hurt us. But if the wrong people get a hold of the ability to control what the AI says and does, then things could definitely go wrong.
yeah, there's this question here, isn't there, about learning for themselves, right? A computer learning for itself. Is that where the danger is?
Yeah, because then they can almost, it sounds again unrealistic, but they can almost take over in all of our jobs and in our lives, and they can become dominant over us, and because they're machines, they can learn and build themselves, but we have natural evolution, and if they pass us in intelligence, then humans can be in a bit of trouble.
So I was discussing with my dad, and my dad told me that some people have a fear that if robots get more intelligent than humans, they might make their own choices. And maybe even if that robot gets even more intelligent, then it might start to program robots without humans, even asking it to. And even I saw this movie, but it might actually happen. It's that a robot had its own like a mind of its own, and then it started doing whatever it wanted, and then started learning, and then it could have done lots of damage.
Well, another thing that they can learn themselves, in the artificial intelligence exhibit thing, it said that there was a robot that learned to get better the more checker games it played. So that means that even then, robots could learn to do things better just because they've done something more.
So we know robots can learn, is that right?
If you create a robot that can learn on its own, I don't think that any of this would happen, because I think if technology got this advanced, the government would probably do something to make sure that it doesn't go crazy.
Okay, Abby has had her hand up for a long time. Abby, what do you want to say?
So at the beginning of your question, you said that, so when you were explaining it, you said that basically AI could lead to unemployment, but the AI itself needs people to create it, and that can open up job opportunities. And if we restrict like if we have a certain amount of robots only allowed, but we keep creating them for more technology, it can lead to more jobs, and it can still be safe for the public with only a restricted amount of robots.
Okay, so unemployment might not be a problem,
Yeah.
you're saying. So should we be concerned? Unemployment is one thing we've identified, isn't it, right? And another thing is robots rebelling against us, right? And another thing we've identified is they might make bad choices and do things that are wrong, is that right?
This is about the unemployment, but
Yep.
we could program robots to make other robots, and so then those jobs would soon close down. And then if we can make robots to be able to think for themselves, then a lot of other jobs will close down, because at the moment robots can't think, and then they make choices that they are programmed to do, but they can't communicate or solve problems. But if we get them to think, it's not, I can solve a problem if something goes wrong. So if I knock a glass of water over, my response to that, I think, and I would get some tissues and mop it up.
Right.
But a robot isn't programmed to do that. But then if they can think, then they can make their own choices, and then they could start to take over more jobs.
So you're making a distinction between being programmed and thinking for themselves, right? So if robots are programmed, is this right? Then they won't do anything we don't want them to do. But the danger is if they shift from being programmed to thinking for themselves. Is that what you're saying? Are we agreed on that? So what's the difference between being programmed and thinking? What's the difference between being programmed to do something and thinking for yourself?